Welcome back to the Boot Tragedies.
All right, obviously it's mock draft season. The Super Bowl is over. The Saints got their new offensive coordinator, which I already talked about, but I'm going to just do a mock draft. Now, I know it's February, early February. It's a long time until draft season, until, the NFL Combine, Pro Days, and things like that. But why not just do a mock draft before free agency? And it's just kind of talk about my process on what I think the Saints going to do. First, I'll just jump right into it real quick. And I guess they can go on start this up. Saints have the 14th pick. Now, the Saints, after pick 45, don't have a lot of picks. We have a trade-off right here with the Bills. We won't take that. But the Saints don't have a lot of picks after 45. So my mindset is you have to take a guy at 14 that's going to help the team immediately. Then you have to think about trading down from 45. Now, let's just be honest, Marvin Harrison Jr. won't be here at 14. I'm not going to even waste our time in taking Marvin Harrison Jr. Right there. And I guess the Colts could be happy behind me because he's just not going to be there. He's not going to be there. I think the realistic expectations for the Saints, Jer'zhan, and then you got Newton from Illinois. Now, out of these two guys, I do like Jer'zhan a lot. I do like Newton a lot. I think he's the best defensive tackle in the draft. Out of these two, I will take Newton. Now, you're going to be taking defensive tackles back-to-back in the first round. You just took Brian Bresee last year. Then you get Newton this year. I think that's two solid defensive tackles, two very, very good defensive tackles that could be the anchors of your defense. Put those guys right in the middle for years to come. I think that'll be a very, very good move for the Saints. Only reason why I won't take Jer'zhan is because I think the Saints need to finally address that in free agency. We struck out and missed on defensive ends, on edge rushers for a long time. With obviously Davenport, Peyton Turner. We just drafted Foskey, who didn't play at all his rookie season or barely played. You know what? I'm tired of striking out. Obviously, something we're doing at this position, evaluating this talent, is not working. So I just won't even mess with the edge rushers in the first round again. We've missed way too many times. Go on free agency, get somebody that's proven. It doesn't have to be a top tier guy, but go get somebody that's proven that you kind of know what you're going to get already and go from there. So in this case, I'll take Newton from Illinois with this first round pick for the Saints. I'm glad y'all gave me an A. Don't care if you gave me an F, just going to do what I do. Like I said, now all of these picks after 45, it's just not enough picks for the Saints. Now we got some trade offers and let's see what we got going on. Now, realistically, I wouldn't trade with the Bucks. But like I said, you know what? We'll just play it out with no trade offers. I think I don't like any of these trade offers. If I could have got a third round pick maybe out of this, maybe I'd have came. If I got a second and third right here, maybe I would have jumped at this. But actually, let me look at the draft board as well. We got Graham Barton from Duke. I think that'll be a good pick. Darius Robinson, the edge rusher. I'm not really sure we want, going to edge. Like I said, I would rather get that out of the draft. Zach Frazier is a center. So let's just go Graham Barton right here out of Duke. Another A right there because obviously the Saints need interior. You watch my one of my videos, we need to get those trenches right. Now it's going to be a long time till we pick again. So these two guys, if the Saints decide to go this route, they have to hit on the two people. And it has to be an offensive lineman and it has to be a defensive lineman. I don't care how you go in first round or second round. I think you should go defense first. Just because I think those guys at the top are really, really good. So if one of those guys are there, you have to go there. But you have to go offensive line right after that. Let's go back to all right here. Now after that, it's where, what you want to do. I'm going to go Christian Jones. I don't care about this suggestion right here. I'm going to go offensive tackle. Obviously, you drafted Trevor Penning. It hasn't worked out so far. You had to have Andres Pete play that position this past season, which you don't really want, Andres Pete out there. You had James Hurst out there. That didn't work. You had so many guys trying to play that left tackle position. None of it worked. Now we flip over to the right side where you have Ryan Ramczyk out there. He's got some injury issues. We don't know if he's going to play. Hopefully he plays, and I think he will, but you just never know. So with your right tackle being hurt, your left tackle not non-existent, you have to take a tackle in this draft as well. So Christian Jones will be my pick right here. And just never know. He could be playing left tackle, he could be playing right tackle. We just don't have a tackle on this roster. And you really don't want a third or fourth round pick coming in and being a day one starter unless he's good enough. But the Saints may have to do that. If the Saints end up going like this, defensive lineman and kind of a guard, you're going to probably have to draft a tackle that's going to have to play. So maybe you take a tackle earlier than this and maybe take a guard later. I think it's easier if you take a guard later because I think we'll be better suited to have some guards on the roster. Maybe you move Trevor Penning inside. Obviously, you got Ruiz on the other side. You got McCoy at center. And it's kind of easier to, mix and match those guys at the guard position other than the tackle position. So maybe they take a tackle at 45, then take a guard, at 148 if they don't trade. But for right now, I'm going to take Christian Jones at offensive tackle. Another A+. They just can't give me A's. Don't boost my ego right here. Now, after this, we're already in the 5th round. I would honestly do this if I was the Saints. I probably would trade. But I'm not going to trade because I want to draft some guys. They suggested a tight end. I don't think we need a tight end in this draft. Personally, it's only a couple positions that I want. I want the trenches, and maybe I would take a linebacker or a safety, maybe a corner, depending on what we do with Marshawn Lattimore. A lot of people probably want a receiver. That's the sexy pick. But, man, we got Chris Olave, Rashid Shaheed, A.T. Perry. That's a really, really young wide receiver room. If we're going to get a wide receiver, it's probably going to be in free agency. Obviously, we got Kubiak from the 49ers. He's already been linked to Jennings. It's very, very early to do. These dudes just played in the Super Bowl, so that's not a foregone conclusion to anything. But I would love for Jennings to come in this wide receiver room. Really good blocking receiver, kind of playing that tight end role sometimes. Not really a tight end, but he's big enough to get in there and block some of those guys. With A.T. Perry, with Rashid Shaheed, with Chris Olave, I just don't think it'll be smart to draft another young guy at receiver in its already young room. So out of these guys on the board, I would go edge rusher from Houston. God, that doesn't even sound right after we drafted Davenport out of UTSA. And was it Peyton Turner out of Houston, or do I got those mixed up? Yeah. Don't want really an edge out of Houston, but you can't hold this. He can't hold the defensive ends we drafted against him. So I will go Nelson Season right here. Another A+, maybe because we need so much. They're probably going to just give me all A's in this draft. Now at this position, I think, look at that. That's four picks in a row where I went to the trenches. 4 picks in a row where I went to the trenches. Now, in this scenario, I'm just going to pretend we traded Marshawn Lattimore. We kind of need some secondary help. Obviously, we have Alontae Taylor. Obviously, we have Paulson Adebo. So it's not like we're going to be pressed, to draft a cornerback first round if we were to get rid of Lattimore. Also, I think we need a linebacker. P. Warner, Demario Davis, who's getting up there in age and still playing at an all-pro level. P. Warner played pretty good for us once again, but we really don't have that backup linebacker that's solidified. Zach Bond kind of went to the edge this year, used him as a pass rusher. Don't know it took so long. So maybe we need another linebacker. Also, like I said, safety, corner, those things. A lot of people saying we need a tight end. I'm just not buying that we need a tight end with Foster Moreau and Jer'zhan Johnson. I just don't think it'll be necessary to draft a tight end at all. Maybe we can bring a guy in undrafted free agency or something like that. But to draft one, even though we have a lot of picks, so we may end up get one eventually, just don't think it'll be smart to take one right here. Now, the guys available right here, out of these, like I said, I'm going to pretend we traded Marshawn Lattimore in this scenario. And I'll look at the corners. Now just go with the highest guy available, Jarvis Brownlee Jr., and we'll go from there. Oh, once again, another A+, just because we need so much on this team. I just feel like they're treating us like a make-or-wish team. We need so much that I'm probably just going to get all A's on these picks. Right after that, I'll just look at the linebackers. Just took a corner. Like I said, we're probably going to need a backup linebacker. And you really, after you're picking 45, maybe 148 for the Saints, you're really picking backups at this moment, trying to get some depth pieces, trying to get some guys that'll make special teams, make this roster. I'm going to take Jalen Ford from Texas at linebacker right there. What do you know? Another A+. Hey, man, I did this honestly before I started recording. It did not go like this. I got a lot of C's and D's in there. Maybe they just know I'm recording right now and don't want to embarrass me. And after this, we took a linebacker, we took a corner, we took an edge, offensive tackle, inside lineman, defensive lineman. Now, other than that, I think that's a really, really good picks for the Saints right there. And it's no needs after this. It's just no needs after this. In my opinion, I think we're going to get an edge in free agency. Then we're going to get a veteran receiver in free agency. Now, after that, obviously the running back position, you got Kamara, you got Jamal Williams, you got Kendre Miller. Those guys solidified. I think the receivers are solidified. Now, maybe it's time to, if you want to take a receiver, you can take one here. We just took a linebacker, took a corner. Maybe you take a safety. Jordan Howden had a okay rookie season, played in there at some times when Marcus May went out. Maybe you take another safety. Maybe you take another safety because Tyrann Mathieu's getting up there in age and injuries do happen. So maybe you take a safety to learn under him for a year or two and see how that goes. So actually, I'm going to take a safety right here. And just because Malik Mustafa is number 1 on the board, I'm just going to take him in another A. What do you know? I'm going to try to not get an A eventually. Don't want to trade with y'all, to be honest. Like I said, we just took a safety. Now, at this point, we can just take what we want, do what we want. I'll just look at receivers. And Luke McCaffrey, hey! Is it any relation to the McCaffreys? I'm not sure. Don't they have a brother? And let me just look that up. Is that McCaffrey? I know it's a McCaffrey out there. I know it's a Mahomes out there. Let's see if this is, related to the McCaffreys, because if it is, we're taking them. I definitely seen that McCaffrey had a brother out there. Let's just look this up on my phone real quick. Personal life for this add McCaffrey. So that's yep. Obviously, that's the guy. That is the guy. So we're gonna take Luke McCaffrey, because why not? Why not, man? We just took Kubiak from the 49ers, who obviously have Christian McCaffrey. Why not get Luke McCaffrey at receiver? I think that's a good pick, and they think it's a good pick. My bad, Jaquan Jackson. I really like Jaquan Jackson. I've been watching him a little bit. But Luke McCaffrey right there with Kubiak, McCaffrey, fine right there. We might as well take Luke McCaffrey right there. And now for our last pick. Let's see what's on the board. You got a Darius Henderson, an inside lineman. You got a kicker, Groupie, who I think had a really good year. We don't really need a kicker. Do think we need to bring in some punter competition, though. Right here, I just don't know. I just said some punter competition, and Matthew Hayball, just because it's suggested, just because you're right here, I don't think the Saints need to draft a punter. But, man, just because I said it, I think we do need some punter competition, because our punting was horrific, in my opinion, this year. Matthew Hayball, welcome to New Orleans Saints, baby. And boom, another A+. So I got an A+, 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 A+. I think that'll be a really good draft. That would be a really good draft if the Saints decide to go that route. Obviously, it's not going to happen like this. Obviously, it's the first mock draft. Who knows how it's going to turn out? Free agency is obviously going to change this mock draft. The Saints can go out and get a defensive tackle and a defensive end in free agency, and then maybe we're just going to have to do a whole new mock draft where we take a tackle first, guard first. So maybe we get a tackle in free agency. Maybe Ryan Ramczyk retires. Maybe Trevor Penning moves to guard. It's so many things that are going to happen before, obviously, it's time for the Saints to draft. So this is just the first one. I probably won't do another one for a while, maybe until, free agency kind of kicks up. But I know a lot of people want the mock draft. I've already seen some questions about mock draft. So bam, here it is, the first mock draft. I think it's a pretty good mock draft. You got Jer'zhan Newton, you got Graham Barton, Christian Jones, Nelson Caesar, Jason Brownlee Jr., Jalen Ford, Malik Mustafa, Luke McCaffrey, Matthew Hayball. I think that's a really, really good mock draft. And we'll see what happens, man. Let me know what y'all think about this mock draft in the comments below. I'm going to try to save this. Don't try to make me sign up for anything like that. I don't want to do that. But let's just screenshot this, and then we can do that. I think that's a really good mock draft for the Saints. Like I said, let me know what y'all think in the comments below about this mock draft. As always, it's the Boot Tragedies, and I'm out.
So one last time, let's make